Good day to you, Undercurrents listeners. I'm coming to you today with something unusual. This is not a full-length episode. It's kind of a public service announcement. Two of them, actually. The first is about MCC's Migration and Resettlement Program. MCC has been supporting refugees and newcomers for a long time, 100 years, give or take. Over the years, Mennonites and Canadians as a whole have been a powerful force of compassion and welcome for hundreds of thousands of refugees and newcomers seeking safety and belonging in Canada. But over the last number of years, the rhetoric has shifted. Politicians, influencers, and media have been only too happy to blame refugees and newcomers for every social ill facing Canadians today. And that fearful othering has definitely infected our public discourse, especially on social media. Here are just a few comments that MCC has gotten on our social media posts promoting refugee sponsorship. And I want to give fair warning that this language may be triggering for some. On a photo of newcomers being welcomed by sponsors at the airport, someone wrote, "Oh look, two old white out-of-touch liberals inviting more immigrants to an infrastructure that cannot support anymore. Good job, all these doctors and engineers love doing home invasions." Another wrote, "Mass deportation is the only answer." Another said simply, "Yuck." This is obviously very troubling, and it also, I hope, does not represent MCC's constituency. These comments were on social media ads that targeted a wider audience, but it does show the work that we have cut out for ourselves to bring compassion and generosity back into the public discourse, especially around refugees and immigrants. To that end, our next episode will drop on Monday, June 15th, to coincide with the launch of a new national campaign that MCC is participating in, called We're Better Together. We'll hear from my colleague, Kaylee Perez.
But have recently realized that it's actually not about looking for sameness. It's about desiring the newness that comes when you get to build relationship with someone who's different from you. Actually longing to be decentered and to be open and realizing my way is not the best way. And when I actually am excited to learn something new from you, the beauty and the strength that comes from that is significantly transformational.
And a unique perspective from a special guest who helped create Canada's, and by extension, the world's, first private sponsorship of refugees program.
One of the best moments of any day was when they hand us an application and there's a telegram there from somebody in Sarnia saying, if you let in Ahmed so-and-so, we will look after that person. And I said, that liberated us. And I said, I want the system to liberate our officers. We want the officers to have absolute confidence that when that sponsorship comes through, it's gold.
The other little announcement I have, which is more of a reminder, is about churches using undercurrents during their service and Sunday school hour. This past weekend, I was at the New Hamburg Mennonite Relief Sale, where the place was teeming with Undercurrents listeners. And by the way, thanks to all of you who came up to me and said kind words about recent episodes that you had enjoyed. The words of affirmation are my love language. And one person mentioned that their church, shout out Steinman Mennonite Church, watched episode 33, Redefining a Good Neighborhood in Queenston, St. Catharines, in their adult education hour recently, which I was thrilled to hear. And now's a good time to remind you, listeners, that there is a discussion guide that comes with every episode. I specifically tried to keep the episodes to around 25 minutes, so that in a typical church Sunday school hour, there is time for you to watch or listen to an episode and have plenty of time for discussion. And if your church or small group does decide to use an Undercurrents episode, please let me know. You can write to me at podcast@mcco.ca and tell me what church you're at, the number of people who attended, and if you feel so moved, any feedback or comments you had on the episode, and if there's a way that MCC can support you in the next steps. This also helps us track our analytics more accurately. Spotify or YouTube may log it as only one view, but if we know that a Sunday school had 30 or 40 participants, we know our outreach is greater than the raw number suggests, which is encouraging for me, for MCC, and for our sponsor, Kindred Credit Union. So please share with your friends, family, coworkers, and please comment on your podcast apps or on YouTube, as that helps others find Undercurrents. So listen for the next fresh episode, the second last episode of season 6, by the way, on Monday, June 15th. And thank you for listening. My name is Ken Ogasawara. Have a great rest of your day.